right, man. So Tate Ratledge hasn't signed his contract. I'm gonna talk about that rookie deal, and I'm gonna talk about should he start at center. It's kind of been concerned about Frank Ragnow. Yeah, but let's spit some pimping, man. So he hasn't signed because of the Saints quarterback Salt. I don't know his first name, but he's expected to be the starter in New Orleans. And he wants a fully guaranteed contract as a second rounder. I believe another second rounder last year got a fully guaranteed contract or something like that. I want to say it was a receiver. Maybe this year, last year was a receiver that got a fully guaranteed contract or something like that. I forget. He was a second rounder. It was this last year's draft or this year's draft. So he wants a fully guaranteed contract as a second rounder. So basically, Tate Ratledge is holding out, seeing what happened in that situation. So it's just a domino effect. It's not expected that he's going to miss training camp. So he's just trying to see what happens. There's nothing with the Lions. It's just like, okay, if this dude get that, then, I'm pretty much going to want that too. And, so maybe the Lions prepared to see what happens. So, but if you're going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints, and that's the expectation, he got some leverage over the Saints. But, nonetheless, I think, it's no really cause for concern. I mean, we see what's happening with Cincinnati with Shamar Stewart. And, basically they trying to put, since his contract is fully guaranteed, they trying to put a clause in there saying that, saying that, if he gets suspended or, something happened off the field, they can default the rest of his guaranteed money on his contract. And no other rookie got that. So if suspension, a pair suspension, misconduct, or something like that, they can just default the whole contract and not owe him no money. And it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? No other rookie got that. And they can deem that you did something that was misconduct and you can be innocent. You can be innocent of that. But then they still can void your whole contract. So that, I get them on that. No, that's never been done before, but Cincinnati, as his employer, got the right to put that in there. If not, it can get so greasy for him where he can just sit out this year and hopefully took care of his NIL money. It's a lot of times the agent to help you out. He can sit out this year and re-enter the draft next year. I don't know how many times that's happened in the National Football League, but it could happen. But I don't think it's not that with Tate Ratledge. He's waiting on the dominoes to fall to see what happened with the Saints guy, but especially if he's going to be the starting center. Now you continue to go a little bit deeper with this, and you talk about, well, should he start at center? And going back to Frank Ragnow, he didn't start at center. They started him at guard, and he was one of the, I think he only gave up like a handful of sacks his whole college career. It was something very, very small, and it was a great pick. You know what I'm saying? He was the second center. I remember we drafted out of Arkansas. I remember we had drafted the guy Travis Swanson. Didn't really work out. Graham Glasgow, I believe, started at center, and then Frank Ragnow eventually made the change over. So it's a lot of responsibility. And Tate Ratledge, he was groomed to be the center at the University of Georgia. He would play center in practice, so he knows how to play it. Miles Frazier, when they drafted, I believe his name out of LSU, he's played it. Graham Glasgow has started it as the Lion. He's played it. So, I mean, Frank Ragnow was very important to what they do. When you lose probably the best center in football, which he didn't get respected like that, and I find that funny, that they was trying to put other centers over him, just like they do Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph is the best safety in football. I keep saying it. Nobody's making plays like him, but had he played for the Dallas Coon Boys, had he played for the Green Bay Packers, they would be saying that. And that's what I tell y'all, man. Even when you win in Detroit, they find a way to just, okay, let's demote him or not give him his credit or something like that. That's what I really don't understand about it. These sports leagues, they want to only market certain teams. If that's the point, just play a 6-man league. That's how I pretty much feel about it. I feel like they should market everybody equally based on, the players that they have that people want to see and based on the success rate that they had the previous year and how they're going to, and what they're going to do in a projection. Every year watching us watch the Cowboys get the foot put up their ass in prime time, why should they be owed that spot? That's what I don't really understand. And that's what I say when they do these lists and, they rank certain players over certain, like they rank Christian McCaffrey as the 41st best player on the CBS Top 100. I'm like, how? The fuck did he do last year? Absolutely nothing but injury. So how is he the 41st best player? They like I said. But, at the end of the day, baptism by fire. Some people believe in baptism by fire. Some people believe in easing a guy in there. And that's a very critical position to have somebody plug in at center, because a lot of times you making a line audible calls, you the direct line to the quarterback, especially when you got a pocket quarterback like Jared Goff. But the kid is 6'7", athletic, he mean, he big. I mean, remember for years, Dominic Raiola, which his son is fire at Nebraska, kind of had a little shaky time, but Nebraska rebuild franchise. I like the talent. He used to always get blue back in the center's lap. So I like the fact that even when Frank Ragnow, at 6'4", I like the fact that they going with bigger centers. Raiola was small. He would always get blue on somebody, in the quarterback's lap. Him and what's the brother's name? Jeff Backus was two of the worst Hall of Shame lions you ever can find. I couldn't stand them. Never forget Jeff Backus in the 2-point stand and Matthew Stafford on the goddamn it's on the EMS truck and shit, in Chicago. I'll never forget that. Backus was terrible, bruh. Raiola was terrible, except for that 1 year he had, and then he was terrible after that. Was late in his career. He was terrible. But like I said, I like that they're going with bigger centers, because you're going to want to run the football up the middle. You're going to want to protect your pocket quarterback in Jared Goff. So in my opinion, it makes all the sense in the world. To get a big, strong center. So I think when they put the pads on and they start training, they have a better idea whether they want to go with him there, and his experience and what he can do there with the line calls and what he can pick up. Because if he blow it and he block one way and it's a straight line, it's an issue. So you go to Graham Glasgow, who had a lot of experience, but the problem with kind of going with Graham or somebody else is that or Graham Glasgow is that now your offensive line is like 75% intact the way it is. You only lost Zeifert. You got to remember, he was a new staple, but really in reality, Christian Mahogany had been balling all late last year when Zeifert went out. So in reality, you got 4 offensive linemen that all played the same position last year, so they have a cohesiveness. The only person you changing out is Ragnow. A lot of your backups been here. Corey Sorsdale. I think the African guy, Oscar Yuka, whatever is now, like him a lot. Dan Skipper's been here. So when you start having these conversations, a lot of cohesiveness, you literally just changing out the center. Now, how important is the center? I mean, right there with the left tackle is very important. Line audible calls, he mess a block is the quickest way to the quarterback. Why is the left tackle so important for a right-handed quarterback? Simple. You my blind side protector. I don't know what's going on the backside. I'm trusting you on the backside. So on the front side, if I'm turning this way, I can see everything that's going that way. But behind me, I can't really see. So we'll see what happens. But honestly, if when the pass come on, he do well. You just do trial baptism by fire. So let me know what y'all think. Check out the Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree. You can find me everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, X, the whole 9. Peace.